Greetings and welcome to my channel. I would really appreciate your support in the form of likes, subscriptions, and comments. Your participation is effortless, but serves as a significant motivation for me to create more content. I hope you enjoy these videos. Today turned out to be quite a challenging day at work, as my boss put a huge number of tasks in front of me. I did my best to complete everything as soon as possible so that I could get home. Upon arrival, my wife, Sarah, greeted me with a delicious dinner and informed me that her friend, Jessica, was coming to visit. Over dinner, Sarah and I discussed our planned summer vacation at the beach, and when we finished eating, my friend Emily came over and I went to watch soccer. Sarah and Jessica were talking in the kitchen when suddenly the phone rang. Sarah had been urgently called into work for a couple hours, so she quickly got ready and rushed to the office. Jessica stayed behind to wait for her and came into the bedroom where I was watching soccer and drinking a beer. We started chatting about things, and before I knew it, we were side by side, shoulder to shoulder. When I noticed this, I quickly got up, went to the kitchen to get something to eat, and invited Jessica in for tea, trying to lighten the mood. Jessica followed me into the kitchen without hesitation and came up behind me while I made sandwiches and tea. A little surprised, I pulled away from her, amazed at what she said next. "I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Haven't you ever wanted to try something new? With your wife, every day is so monotonous. Work, home, work, home. No romance, no passion." And then I thought it was true. The old feelings were long gone. Every night after dinner, we just went to bed, and there was no passion in our bedroom for a long time. I'd always been faithful to Sarah, though, and never paid attention to other women. But Jessica took me by surprise. She was single and always looking out for herself, something I hadn't noticed in my wife. I turned and walked to the bedroom, taking Jessica's hand and pulling her with me. I was afraid Sarah might come home from work, but I wasn't about to back down as Jessica's beauty drew me in. "Whatever happens," I said to myself, and immediately moved closer to her. As soon as I touched her lips, the intercom rang, and I hurried to the front door. Luckily, it was only the delivery guy. Back in the bedroom, I was pleasantly surprised by what I saw. Jessica has prepared for this, I thought. She was wearing black lace lingerie that emphasized her already stunning figure. "Are you just going to stand there and watch?" she whispered. Without thinking, I walked over to her, looked her over, and gently laid her down on the bed. We lay like that for a long time, looking into each other's eyes. There seemed to be a spark between us, but I knew it was only a passing weakness, because I couldn't imagine myself with her in the long term. Still, I went for it, knowing that we didn't have much time, and Jessica was in complete agreement. As we lay there, the weight of what was happening settled on my soul. Jessica's eyes glistened with excitement and vulnerability, but deep down, I felt conflicted. I'd always valued loyalty and the life Sarah and I had built, despite the boredom that appeared in our marriage. And yet, I'd crossed a line I thought I'd never come close to. Jessica leaned toward me and gently ran her hand down my arm. "I know this is unexpected," she whispered, "but I've been waiting so long for you to pay attention to me." Her voice was soft, almost pleading, as if she'd been dreaming of this moment for years. But the more I looked at her, the harder my heart pounded, not from desire, but from guilt. I pulled away and sat up, running my hands through my hair. "Jessica, I can't do this. It's not right. Sarah doesn't deserve this. And deep down, I know I'm not the right person to betray her like this. Jessica's expression changed. A mixture of disappointment and understanding reflected on her face. I just thought for once you'd want something different. But I understand. She smiled sadly, sitting down next to me. You're a good person, even when temptation is right in front of you. I stood up and paced around the room as my thoughts darted around. The guilt was now eating me alive. Look, Jessica, it's not that I don't appreciate you or find you attractive, but what we're doing or about to do is going to ruin everything. I need to fix things with Sarah, not run away from problems. She nodded slowly, getting out of bed and gathering her things. You're right. It was probably just a moment of weakness for both of us. I should get going before Sarah gets back. I walked her to the door, and we were both silent. Before she left, she turned and said, I hope you find what Sarah is missing. She's lucky to have someone who cares for her so much. With those words, Jessica left, and I closed the door behind her, leaning against it with a deep sigh. The room was eerily quiet, and I could still smell the scent of her perfume wafting through the air. I grabbed my phone and sat down on the couch, staring at Sarah's photo in contact. I needed to make things right, to be honest with her about my feelings, and try to rekindle what we once had. When Sarah came home later that night, tired after an unexpected shift at work, I realized I couldn't hide behind silence anymore. I needed to talk to her, to tell her about everything, the boredom, the routine, and the temptation that had nearly ruined everything. This conversation scared me, but it had to happen if we had any hope of saving what was left of our marriage. When Sarah sat down next to me, I took a deep breath and began to speak. And it made me feel better